Howdy folks, so today we've got Ireland's leading Jcb Fastrac specialist here, Russell Fastraxx, and this will be the last time you see these damn valves. So these are all being replaced by an electric system rather than this electronic system, because at the minute basically nothing works, no spool valves on it at all. So you know, I couldn't be happier that Russell's here to fit his electric kit on here. So let's see how it goes, shall we? Using the old workbox as nature intended, as a nice little tool. What do you think? It's all right, isn't it, lot?
Well impressive. I definitely think there should be more of these around the countryside. There's lots of farmers and plant hire men and...
Well handy, mate, well handy, lot.
So many chains and straps and tool kits you can throw on the floor.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. At least you ain't got to clamber, like I say, clamber or the stuff in the cab here, so. Right, so let's have a look at this kit that you're going to fit then. So
we're looking at putting in these two joysticks.
Yep.
We're going to replace the rigid controls. Now you have 3 valves in your tractor. We'll double up the brown one. It'll actually, what will happen is your brown will have I'm going to say constant pump or spring to neutral. So it'll end up doing either or on brown, even though it shows white on this. Normally you can have these tractors up to 5 valves. So you'd have...
I've not seen one before. I've seen one before, but...
4 would be quite common, but the 5th valve would normally, when you've got front linkage, it is the 5th valve.
Where do they put that then?
You'd have another draft control panel up, just above your standard.
Oh, it goes on that sort of side panel rather than on the...
little slot there, so another Bosch unit in there.
Oh, right.
But they'd have a height sensor in it as well on the front linkage.
So it would be...
That's when we're talking about original Zudeborg.
Yeah.
This here, I guess, is a farm force.
This is, well, I don't know what it is. I bought it, come off eBay, and it was off of Matty Fergie.
Right, so
but it's just a general, just a front linkage. I don't know whose it is.
Farm force to me, but maybe someone just copied something like
that. Yeah, it may well be, like, but.
Here, let me have a little look. So Zudeborg is what they left the factory with.
Yes,
so you'd have the green, blue, white and brown valves. And the 5th valve would be the actual front linkage. So we'd often be repairing 5 when you've got the front linkage. You would actually be repairing 5 valves. So you'd have the front linkage.
That's a lot of valves, isn't it? Like,
yeah. So if you're adding up all that, I think $2,500 you were saying sterling.
Yeah, so for one unit, like for one unit.
That's 12,500 sterling.
That's a lot. Yeah.
A nice deposit on the next.
Oh, it would, mate. That's the thing. That's the thing. And how long do they blooming last?
Yeah.
You know, they can last, not very long sometimes, can't they?
We'd find a lot of machine at 10 years of age. This is 2004.
So
that's 21 years old. So if any of them work at all, you can be sure it's been replaced at least once.
Yeah.
But no, we're failing.
Yeah.
First 5 and 10 years of life. So.
Yeah. Hence why even if I did replace the brown one, $2,500. What's to say that my green and blue's not gonna? Because they're giving issues as well. So, I'll be $7,500 in just for these 3 valves. So, hence, why we're getting your system put in.
So, what you're looking for then is we're going to try and leave you with 2 buttons on the front, similar to these, up and down.
Yeah, just be on the front light.
Just to help you hook up your box.
That'd just be so handy, like, because otherwise, at the minute you're hooking the box on, you get out, you can't see quite, so you get out. Oh no, you're lifted a bit in cab.
Up in the cab.
So it's that'll just be so easy, wouldn't it? Like so easy.
So a couple of buttons like this up and down. And you might have a little look. There's maybe 1 or 2 faulty buttons on the tractor. So there is no issues with your draft control. It's actually
draft control works a treat. Like the only faults it throws up are the spools. Occasional transmission fault, but I mean it's a Fastrac. Draft control is absolutely fine.
The draft control on this now, it's described as Bosch Hitchtronic.
Even though this is Bosch, it's a good system actually.
This is designed in the 1980s for Massey Ferguson. So the likes of your Datatronic Masseys, the 3080s.
They're the same system, like.
655, they have the very same. But they've kept it separate to the rest of the valve block, so it's very reliable. That's what you don't have fault codes on the dashboard of the tractor. It's only blinks through.
Through the little, through the light.
You don't get on your dashboard. The laptop won't pick up on either, not on this generation. So you have 2 draft control pins down on the rear, giving you your draft forces for the plough. The height sensing there, and then all your controls are pretty much in the cab. For the sensitivity and the depth and everything.
You
have your solenoid for up and down, but that's totally independent, so it doesn't tend to give trouble. So I'm seeing consistently is that the draft control is working perfect on the tractors, where these other parts are given faults. So we're going to just show a little bit, if you want to come over here a little bit closer, just show you what's in the valve. So just come back there with George and show you. So anyone wants to see, if you want to just look in a bit closer, you can see that valve block. So this is what's actually there. You can see the plug attached to the top there. There's one in each valve, but this is actually what's inside.
So that's what gives all the blooming trouble.
That
blooming.
Look, I just have a might just pop this apart here. So the equivalent of your, I don't know, it looks like the inside of your mobile phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some lad designed that to work on the farm for 10 or 20 years. Good luck with that.
Good luck,
Not only that, then JCB had the wisdom to put it, as I described, under the gutter, so the water run down the back of the cab goes straight onto the valve. If they had to put it under the cab,
it'd have probably been a lot better,
and I've seen a few of the, the older 8250s and that. The 8250 has it back here a bit further. A big aluminium cover over it. Keeps the rain off. Just very simple bit of tin
effective
over. Does the job, but we found that the valves have lasted way better. And they do give trouble on them, but not like these ones where they just corrode to pieces. So that's what's inside them, and the chances of that working for 20 years while out in the muck and the rain. And what I find
the trouble is you can't just get that bit, can you?
No, there's nothing. Bosch will tell you nothing. JCB will tell you nothing. It's the whole valve or not at all. But what I was going to say, the other thing I've found recurrently is the tractors that are doing less would tend to fail more.
Because they're getting less
heat through them, condensation, dampness. You're probably similar enough climate-wise here to ourselves in Ireland.
Well, it's like anything. I mean, a lot of the tractors don't do a lot during the winter, and if they're outside or unheated barns, they're going to condensate, aren't they?
That's what happens. So I'd have seen tractors with small hours, maybe only say 2,000 or 3,000 hours, and then 10, 15, 20 years old.
And like everything's corroded in there.
This would be all seized up. You'd assume that it'd be.
Should be better, No,
it's quite the opposite.
It's worse,
If it's running, there'd be a bit of heat going through the system and it dried out. But like if I give you that piece there and left it sitting out on the wall of the farm for a week or two, you'd expect it to get damp and mucky. You left your phone out in the wall, forgot it.
The same thing, isn't it?
Chances are, we come back next week, it's probably going to have a big damp
bit of issue,
you have to put it into a box of rice or something to try and dry it out. But so what we'll do is we're going to open these down and we're going to work our magic. We can't tell you everything, if we told you everything we'd have to kill you, George.
No, I don't want to know the secrets. I don't need to know the secrets.
But just enough to make sure it works. So I think we'll have to get busy now. That's the next thing. We're not talking, it's not going to get fixed.
Talk don't equal work, does it?
No, bank holiday weekend, there's some things to do. I know you have cows and milk to see. But you probably squeeze in a beer or two over the weekend.
I think we'll have a fish and chip supper, won't we? A bit of a drink,
Definitely.
Something to work for, isn't it?
That's the carrot on the end.
Dangle it.
Definitely. So I have to say, you have a lovely tractor there. It's
not
easy. Good order.
Good nick. Just over 9,000 hours. So
it's lovely original. I'm just looking at the back panel there. There's no corrosion or rusting at all. It's very original. I'd say someone probably put a little bit of paint on it.
I got these painted, but you can see them. It's a JCB. The rust always seems to come through on JCBs, isn't they? They were painted 3 years ago, something like that.
But that's just what happens. Well, we're going to give you a few other little tips maybe along the way.
I'm all up for tips.
Just to match the wheels, I find you've got nice bright wheels.
They want bright in that, bit of acid bright, like,
We'll see. But, no, it's a lovely original tractor. Well impressed.
From your part of the world, Pipe Fab, it's nice exhaust, very nice exhaust.
Jcb lights as well.
So
you can blind all the.
She's definitely bright, and you can see her coming. That's a sure fact.
All the LED lights up.
So
well impressed. So
let's crack on. So Robert's got all the slices off. Bit of a battle, some of them was, wasn't it, Robert?
Corrosion.
But it's going to be.
Especially the older valves. It was one of these was an original valve. It was probably, it was definitely one of the original valves. There was two of them replaced. In more recent times, you can see the black paint from the factory on one. You can see one is.
One's been replaced.
Two of them actually. That one there has been replaced probably, say, 15 years ago. That one maybe in the last 10. Whatever it is. But we go to open it up and then you take out what's part of the unit and there's corrosion, muck.
Look at the crap that's in there, because that's the inside. There's your little. What is that bit there?
It's actually position sensor. It's actually measuring where the valve is at. So if you're moving the lever, it's actually picking up.
It knows where it is.
In, out, up, down, or float, or whatever. So
This is the other bit you've got in there as well, isn't there?
This is the bit, honey. This is the.
Look at that. That's exactly what you want in there.
If ever you look at the little blink codes, there is a little. facility to see the blinks on them.
Yeah.
But pretty much if they're blinking a code, they're telling you they're dead or dying. There's nothing you can do with them. There's no parts available. So we get rid of this piece. We're going to make it still work 12 volt.
Yep.
It'll be a little bit more simple, to say the least. You're not going to have headline management or anything like that, but fairness to headline management.
You can't get it on these anyway, can you?
It's basic enough.
Yeah.
At best. So you'd rather have something that just works every time you go.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
I know as soon as I replace one of these, one of the others will go. And,
so really what you have is your control. The original controls in the cab, they have to talk by, if you ever heard the term CAN bus.
CAN bus.
It's like a digital communication.
It's witchcraft, basically, isn't it?
Witchcraft, farmers do not like
blooming stuff. Yeah.
So it talks to the ECU under the passenger seat. That sends the signal down to the valve, which is this.
Yeah.
This little ECU has to do what it's told. So if a lad thinks there's a fuse gone or a wire loose, it's way more complicated than that.
Oh yeah.
We're getting it back to basics.
Just be like a standard 12 volt wiring circuit, basically, wouldn't it? So far easier to deal with.
Yeah. So
far easier to deal with.
It'll work. So
look,
if there was a failure down the road, we can still repair it.
We'll sort it out, of course can. Yeah.
None of this nonsense.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll make for something simple and reliable, just what the farmer needs.
Exactly what the farmer needs. But so I love a little tool hack, and you've got a good tool hack here, haven't you, Robert?
Oh yeah.
Look at this.
So this is something very simple. It's literally a piece of 1/4-inch hydraulic hose with a bolt pushed into the centre, Jcb clip there, and it becomes a very flexible wire brush. So the wire in the hose, if anyone's seen a hydraulic hose causing damage, there's always wire.
Got all the wire in it, isn't it? Like,
If you're over here, imagine there's a rusty whatever here, and you're trying to just clean it. It will go around the corner.
Look at that,
funny places. You could make it do wonderful things.
Yeah, you ain't got to be straight on it or anything like
And if you want to put a sharp edge, just reverse the drill, and it'll actually just sort of generate more wire, as it'll make itself more furry as it's wearing. Great for going into little bolt holes or little houses or whatever it is.
Russell Fastrac top tip.
There you go.
Lovely job. So basically Robert's got all the slices off. As you've seen, that's where they live on the Fastrac. I mean, obviously you do get good access on the Fastrac. Like, yes, you've got to clamber up a bit on the back, but at least you can get round them. The trouble is they do get a bit corroded in there, especially some of them are been on there for the life of the tractor. She's 21 years old, 04 you see, so but definitely a couple of them have been changed, Robert reckons. But he's basically ripped all he's took them cards out. I can't think of the names. The circuit boards. So got rid of all that crap because I don't need it. And he's basically going to be a 12 volt system. So no CAN bus, none of that crap. Just a simple 12 volt system. So on and off. So he's just modifying the slices at the minute, and then they'll go back on here, and then it's sort of buttoning up time. So so it's going to be great having all the spools working. And the other thing is, as it's been for the past 2 or 3 years or whatever, I go out like with a tipping trailer. I'm like, am I going to be able to tip this trailer, or am I going to have to swap the spools over because I've only got one spool working, that sort of thing. So at least I'll be able to go out and hopefully reliably, know I've got all my spools working. So because it has been a pain. I remember once, was it about 2 years ago, I got the big yellow trailer on this grain cart. We tipped half the trailer and I left it tipped up, and because we stopped for some reason, I think we had an issue with the auger putting it up into the bin. So I left it, the trailer was tipped up like that. Come back 2 hours later, couldn't do anything with it. I don't know what it'd done. Wouldn't go down, made it go up more, and I can't remember what I did, but I had to muck about no end for 10-15 minutes trying different things. It wouldn't go in flat. Basically the trailer wouldn't come out. It would just keep going. It would just go up. I couldn't get it to come down. You put it in float or power down and it was going up like, I mean, what the hell? So it's just like, it's just been such a pain in the backside. And the other thing, like, the Joker requires 3 services, so I couldn't really put it on the Joker. Although I had it on for the fire, but I was swapping the pipes over. Once I've got it working and on the deck, took the spool out for the wheels, for the transport wheels, and then plumbed it into the you know, your headland ram, if you know what I mean. So.
You're talking to yourself again, George.
Oh, I'm always am, mate. That's all I ever seem to do, like.
You get lonely. I see out in the field having a chat to yourself. The neighbours are talking about you. See, everybody's going around the field. He's having a chat with himself.
I'm always lonely here, like. No one to talk to, like. So how's things this morning?
All good, all good.
We're going back together now, aren't we, lot?
Oh yeah,
going back together, not taking apart.
Yeah, no, we had a bit of a struggle yesterday. A
couple of them bolts
screws,
and yeah.
We had to go in a bit further than we were hoping. We don't normally take the valve chest apart as far as we do.
You normally don't need to do that,
we
lot.
can strip off the part we need to do. I'm going to describe it as the low pressure unit where the electronic part is.
Yeah.
But in this case, we had to strip it out because one bolt was not going to go. And we had a hammer and a chisel trying to take a bolt out, and we nearly took a PTO solenoid out of it. So.
Don't want that, like. No. It's easier to whip the lot off, like. Yeah.
Thank me for that, George. So,
well, them things do happen, though, don't they? Like, you know, no matter how good you are. Crap does happen, like, you know.
You're only ever, one sheared bolt from a day of
pain. We've all been there, like, that little tink, or it just suddenly goes easy, doesn't it? Like, oh no. Out come the drill bits,
I was
extractors,
heading for the all places on my way home. You're making plans.
Drown your sorries, like,
how well I got on today, and then one broken bolt later, or maybe two even.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we
touch wood, she's been not too bad, like.
Yeah, so we're going to start putting these valves back in shortly, so we might get you out of the camera when we're assembling that.
Yeah, get
our cables back into the cabin. Things will start to look
better, like, yeah.
So we'll finish spilling blood at this stage. Hydraulic oil.
No blood yet, no, just black blood, like, yeah. Valve blocks all back together.
Yeah, right, so green, blue, brown as before.
Yep.
So we have, this is the blue one, I just fit this up. So you have blue tap, surprisingly, on the blue valve.
Yeah.
It's simple. So that's if you have to carry out any kind of flow control.
Yeah.
It's not quite perfect, but if you have a function you're working repeatedly.
Yeah.
And you want to slow it down, say like the back door of the shredder or fertilizer spreader. A small ram might be. You can close it very fast.
Yeah. You can just wind it down if you want.
Down to maybe 50% or 70%, whatever suits the job. And then you can power it back up. And if you want to go slow in one direction, like slow up and fast down or whatever, you can set one direction so that they're two.
You got one either way, like.
They are what they describe as a free flow return. So even though you restrict the oil in one direction, it's free flow back. So the return is not restricted.
So it won't.
It could be say.
Imagine
it's hopping with a heavy implement.
Yeah.
You want it out slowly. You could set it down to maybe 30% to go slowly, but you want to pull it back in fast. So when you set 1 to 30%, it doesn't affect the return.
That's clever, isn't it? That's clever. So
it just kind of listen to customers about what works, what they want.
Yeah.
Again, it's all a bit of a compromise, but making it work. So right, so with that there, we have this teed off. That's for your front linkage.
That's the front linkage.
Your brown is now split. It's available at the back. It's a double acting function.
Yep.
And there's one side of it because you only have single acting rams in that.
Yeah.
You have it available to the front when the tap is open.
Yeah, and then front linkage will go up and down then.
Yeah.
When that's shut, obviously it comes out the back, so it's...
I'm just going to show you one other little thing now on the green valve just before I finish tightening that pipe. That's the last one. Okay, so in here, this is the bit that Liz told us a little story about the day the trailer was in the store somewhere and you couldn't get the trailer down.
That's right, yeah.
So we now have a manual lever here, so if you can see that.
Yeah, that's it, that's perfect.
So if you need to, say for instance, fuse blew and your hydraulics went, or something like that.
Something disastrous happened.
On the phone to me and you go, bloody hell, can't get the trailer up.
Yeah.
You can manually operate at least.
Yeah, that's nice, yeah. So that is basically your tipping valve. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A manual lever on that now. It's only on the green, but if you were stuck, you could also push and pull.
Yeah.
Some of them there now, it's only for emergencies, but you could push and pull on each of the valves.
It does, yeah.
But to have a lever on the green, because we know of more than one guy that had a trailer tipped up. There's a guy in Ireland that had a 3-axle trailer, I think, doing silage.
Yeah.
He opened pipes, oh my God, you want to see the mess?
Oh, yeah.
Like 2 rams.
And it comes down uncontrollably, oil everywhere.
If you had an IMS, there's a lever on the back of your valve chest.
Yeah, just down you go. Yeah, so easy.
Like it's very dangerous sort of a thing to have.
Yeah.
But I think it looks all nice and smart. So
you've cleaned it all up and everything,
I'd like to know people who are in here doing something.
But it is, I mean, it's a big old job.
It is. There's a lot of work. It's a day and a half work now on 3 valves. But it's leaving us with, we have 1, 2, 3. This is going to be single acted only. So this will operate for tipping trailers. So it goes up with pressure, obviously, It'll hold in the middle and down
the float, yeah.
So there's no pumping on the way down. I hate
No.
to see guys that are working trailers. And
I'd pump them down, like,
so
yeah.
you won't wear it to pump on the
There's
way down.
no need for that, like, no.
So you just hit into float when you move the lever forward. Blue is pressure in both directions, as we said, and you can control the direction, or the flow, sorry, neither direction. And then your brown is just 100% output, and it's split with your front linkage. And you have a shut-off valve on the front linkage.
On the front, so
you turn them off and leave the linkage up, for instance, with your toolbox on it.
That's right.
Still come along.
And it'll operate stuff on the back here, like,
I think you said you have more than one machine. Maybe your tanker is going to need 3 valves, is it?
Well, the Joker needs 3 valves, the tanker needs 2.
2, yeah.
But, yeah, like if the Joker ever goes on it, it'll need the brown spool. So
yeah, definitely.
So that was the old lock-off.
Yeah, so what that does is when you power that up, so formerly it was powered up with the ECU, so now you turn on the switch.
Yep.
The switch powers that up and turns on the green light on the panel. There's a green light there just to warn you that it's active.
Yep.
So that there generates, I think, about 300 psi, which is available in here. And
so that still works. So essentially, in the old system, there's a tab, a rocker switch in cab that allows you to isolate the hydraulics.
Yeah,
so you can't do it when you're going up the road, like,
Yeah, you're not going to take the trailer, for instance, up the motorway.
No, exactly.
Or open the tank.
And you've still got that function on here.
Yeah, so it turns on and off with that switch, and then there's a green light just to warn you that it's on for season.
So there's a visual thing as well, like,
yeah. So you'll hear the slight hum of the hydraulics, because you know you'll always hear.
It sounds like an air leak, doesn't it? Like
low pressure hydraulics. So that's powered up. These are all available. The switch turns off, it turns this off, and they are not available.
Yeah, so if you knock the lever or whatever, nothing's going to happen.
With your draft control here, so the draft control is that Bosch Hitchtronic we talked about previously. Yeah. It has its own independent system, like the ECU is completely...
it's isolated from the spool system.
Now, in case you're not aware, there's an emergency override on the draft control as well.
Right.
So you can lift and lower, say, a plough. Just say.
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
right.
So that's there. So you have
that little button on either end.
Little button. Now it's kind of quite hard to press, but just to get you out of the field. Like
if you've got nothing in cab, you can.
Something wrong on say electric, so ECU cab.
You're activating the valve manually.
You do that with your finger on either end. So a lot of people
there you go.
wear that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a clue that.
No, so it's giving you emergency override with your draft. So that's arms up and down, and then emergency override with at least one of them with that.
Oh, on the spot. That you've put in there, lot.
Giving you a plan B.
So where's Andy that plan B, mate? Always Andy.
Definitely. So, just in case Andy forgot who done the work.
Yeah. If you're needing Fastrac man, he's your man.
Yeah. So we take full credit for all the work here. Obviously.
Take the full credit. That's if it works, mate. That's if it works.
We're 15 years doing this repair.
Yeah, so this has been on the market for 15 years.
This is not a new idea at all. This is me.
Yeah, you've fitted hundreds, haven't you?
Yeah, so these are like 2004 tractor. Probably we've seen them giving trouble probably in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
And when we realised the cost of it, oh my God, this is not something farmers are going to be happy about.
No, keep putting in. And the price keeps going up. Like a slice at the minute, I was quoted last year, $2.5 grand for a single slice.
Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it? And then you have 3 of them there. When you have 3 in this tractor, that's the minimum. Some tractors are up to 5, so 5 2.5 is, you do the math, it's $2.5 grand. That's sterling. Yeah. And maybe pay a lad to fit the martyr. Oh my God.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't even bear thinking about, does it, like?
Yeah. No,
so I mean that is the main question though. How much does it cost to do this conversion?
Well, we approximately the cost of one of them valves.
Yeah.
That's really what we're looking at.
Yeah, so if you have, say you have one go down, you think, do I replace one and then
the other 2 fail?
Exactly. Or if you're going to do this job, you need to do the lot.
Pretty much.
It's a waste of time keeping one.
And what'll happen is if one causes problems, it'll actually shut off your ECU. So one valve will generate, the fault code in the dash. Have light flash in the dash.
Yeah.
But one valve can tell all of them to switch off first of all. So what happens is you
get nothing like.
Yeah, but you talk to me on the phone. I say, look, I set the one that's giving you trouble, so it's gone. So that's not going to come back. And then you end up with another one going down, and it causes problems with the others. Yeah. But to do it my way, you end up with all 3 or 4 or 5 valves set up my way, nice and simple, nice and straightforward. Yeah. It's a slight compromise. You don't get the flow control in the cab. No, it's either on or off. So there's, like you say, there's compromises, but you're getting reliability. Yeah. You're getting just reliability, which. And how many times do you need to feather things?
you know.
I wouldn't recommend it for a loader, for instance.
Oh no, for a loader you still need proportional controls.
Yeah, absolutely. But when it comes to tipping trailers, working tankers,
Yeah.
and what I find is
it's on or off, isn't it, normally?
Most implements, right, would have restrictors built into the actual rams.
Yeah.
Because what they're aware, the manufacturers are aware that most modern tractors are very high output hydraulic pumps.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you have something small like a fertilizer spreader, a small ram,
Yeah.
they tend to go bang, bang, open, close.
They'll have a restrictor
They'll have
in
a
there.
restrictor built in because if some idiot comes along and slams the lever, it'll end up snapping the ram.
Yeah, exactly.
So by design, they build their own restrictors in.
Yeah.
Slows it down, so it's quite rare to have a big problem. But
Yeah.
if you find something like a hydraulic back door in the trailer's a little bit too harsh open,
Yeah, you can just adjust the valve,
and you leave it there all day long.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even when someone that tries to abuse it, it's
Yeah.
up to 50%.
And it's easy to get to in here because you've got the tray, just flip the tray up and away you go.
That's it, no spanners required, just turn that
Yep.
and then you set it to where you want.
Yeah.
You get it right, close the box and don't worry about it for the rest of the day. So
Sported.
we're listening to all the complaints, of which farmers are very good. Whenever they complain, we'll try to listen. We'll try to tweak the
There'll be plenty, there'll be plenty.
Yeah, there'll always be one. Hopefully you're not that guy. George is one of the more agreeable farmers.
Yeah, no, I'll try to look on the positive light, you know.
Yeah, there's enough rangers in the world. Don't be one of them. But no, it was working well and we got good feedback over the years, so we're happy doing this.
Yeah.
We do happily do more. So it affects, the tractors here are built between 2003 and around 2008, definitely 2009, they've all gone to the next. There's a Mark II version we've got, the second generation.
They're a lot better, aren't they, lot?
Well, generally more reliable, but
Yeah.
unfortunately they do fail too. So you'll find them on the 2170 and the later
36,
The smooth shift tractors are
Yeah.
in 2009 and 10 models.
Yeah.
They have that next generation, and unfortunately when them valves fail, you're still looking at a new slice.
Yeah.
This doesn't work. They're not as agreeable, so you end up having to spend main dealer prices when the later type goes down.
Yeah.
But anything between 2003 2008, and that includes the likes of New Holland 60, 80s, 70, 40s.
That's the thing, it's not just Fastraxx.
No, that's the case in New Holland's MX, M190s, the cases, TM190s, 175.
This kit fits them all, like,
Pretty much, yeah. So
and you're still, I mean, you're not replacing the valves per se, you're using the existing valves.
I'm repairing your valves.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so you still have your own solenoids, your own mechanical parts. We've added a few pieces to it here.
Yeah.
A few custom fit parts, a little bit of custom electrics in the cab.
Yeah.
But keeps the nice original look of the tractor. Just maybe you'd say one or two extra pieces. But when it comes to going around the back here, it all works.
Yeah, that's the main thing. That's the main thing. That's
all
what we want, like. That's all what we want.
So getting your Joker back with its 3 valves required.
Yeah.
Into the field, moving your levers.
Yeah, ain't got to swap pipes or anything like that anymore.
So
no.
We'll get a little demonstration of it actually working there.
Yeah.
On the road at night, it's nice to be able to have your headlights on.
Yep.
And when you go from heads to dips,
Yeah.
I know you've got extra lights added already.
Yeah.
But when you go from head to dips, it's nice to have the top ones on.
Yeah.
But it's also a pain in the ass to have to turn them off on switches.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a little hack here in a few minutes.
Love it. You love it. Yeah.
We're going to use and this is done properly. It's totally safe. Doesn't add any extra load on the switch itself. All you're doing is using the headlight switch to turn on the relay for the top work lights.
Yeah, so it's working as basically like wiring a set of spots on a relay.
Yeah, no, it's doing it properly.
Yeah.
So it's not going to put any extra load on any switches or fuses
or wires or anything like that. No.
So pretty much this, every time it comes down to heads, it's going to turn on the top work lights. You go back to dips, it's going to turn them off.
Yeah.
So we'll show you in a minute when we get
Very
there.
nice.
Okay.
Get it done, bud. Get it done. So just packing the workbox up now, and my mobile tool bench. The old compact box has earned its keep because basically Robert didn't need any other tools than what I've got in here. Obviously, like the big combination socket spanner set and chisels, screwdrivers, pliers, everything like that was in here. So it saved. I mean, yes, I got me small portable DeWalt tough system boxes around here, but that only really sort of replicates what I've got in here anyway. So yeah, and of course my little bench that I made, very handy with the vice. So yeah, it basically saved carting around a load of other tools or my big box. But Robert was quite impressed with my rolling tool bench. See, as you can see, it's got, you can probably see how it works. Like, it sits on the wheels there. 2 of them are fixed, 2 is steering. So you can just push it along wherever you want. This end steers like that. But if you want to use the vice and swing on it, just operate Then we come around, operate that lever. You can see what's happening. You have to be careful with your hand. There you go. Now it's sitting on its 4 legs, so it doesn't move. So yeah, real handy bit of kit. I've had it a few years now. Put it like that, and you're back on the wheels. So you can just move it to wherever you want. If you're around the back of the tractor, move it around the back. Yeah, very handy. Nice steel workbench, got the vice on it, obviously. So yeah, that proved. Ron was very impressed. Like when he comes to places like this, he often like working off a pallet and that sort of thing. So he was taking a lot of pictures of that. I think he might be designing one. So yeah, so basically she's all done now. Tray's still off at the minute, so that when well, we've basically tested it all. Everything works. You can hear everything working. But you'll go and hook it on the Joker, because the Joker's got all 3 functions on it. Or requires 3 services, and we can test it properly. And once that's done, I shall stick the tray back on the back. So let's have a look in, see what. I've not actually been in here yet. So yeah, there we go. That's what it looks like now. Nice. And you've got the brown one. The brown and white. So what you got here? So you got green, green forward and back, and blue side to side. So this spool valve is doing both. But it can't. It only goes in them axis. So you can't accidentally, like, it's not like a proportional joystick where you can go in any position. So you can only do green and blue at different times, which is what you want. You don't want to mix them up, sort of thing. So so basically what we've got here, green, that is the float position, so you use that for your tipping your trailer, and that's power up. So that'll just sit there and that'll just pump up. Blue is just on the temporary, like that, so momentary, turning a plough over, lifting the transport wheels up, folding an implement, whatever. Now the brown is the same joystick, forward and back, left and right, but you see it's white in one thing, but they do the same thing. So this is momentary. Well, this is constant pump forward and back. So like for the macerator on the slurry pump, but also if you just want to just tweak it side to side, like for the front linkage, just do that, and that'll move the front linkage up and down. So this does both. Although it's white and brown, that spool valve just does the brown spool valve, but it just obviously goes from constant pump to momentary. So I'm just well chuffed now, because that was just like the, you know, especially it's just been getting worse and worse and more unreliable than electronic spool valves. And like that's why it hasn't really done a lot. He hasn't done any muck cart or anything like that, because I can see, you're going to head up. I was going to head up the field, get up there, and not be able to tip, or get tipped, and not be able to bring it down and crap like that. So it's just like, it's not unusable, but it's just like, very, very unreliable. So now that's in, I'm just well chuffed, because it's just going to be reliable. So reliable and simple. So yeah, next job, get the Joker on.
So 3 functions for this machine. So obviously you haven't been able to work this at all.
No.
Due to a lack of hydraulic function.
I only operated it once when we had the big fire about 3 years ago. But I had to only use, because I didn't have the brown spool working,
Yeah.
I had to plumb the transport wheels in,
Yeah.
and leave the this ram unplugged.
Yeah.
So to get it down the road, then unfolded
This
it.
is a panic situation.
Oh, exactly.
The place is on fire. You didn't
Yeah, the place is on fire, and I'm mucking about the hydraulic thing.
You weren't going to ring me up and say, "Can you fix me valves, please?" The place is going to burn to the ground.
Exactly. So it was a case that you get there, then you unfold it, then you can unplug it. So what a faff.
You were swapping things around. Doing what you have to do, just working.
But that's the first time all 3 spool valves are working properly.
So you're going to do a little cartwheel now, a little dance.
Oh, if I could, yeah. But no, that's. So if I want to go out with this now, if Fastrac needs to go out with it, can do. So yeah, the green spool, that's operating this. The blue one is doing the transport wheels, and the brown one folds it up and down.
And walk this way, come up here.
Oh yeah. This is the other thing. First.
Yeah.
Because you don't get this on an aftermarket.
Now we'll overlook the eye leak, which has nothing to do with me. Okay?
No, that isn't. No.
that eye leak, okay? But we've split, sharing the function pretty much.
Yeah. So the brown spool operates the front here as well as obviously the rear.
Yeah, it's available at the rear. So you're able to turn off the tap.
Just got a tap here, so you turn that off. That's operating the back. If I want to operate this,
come around here.
Operate this.
Well, we've added 2 buttons.
Yeah.
Don't mind the direction.
No, they spin, don't they?
Yeah, they do spin.
So that goes. Basically, I can now hook a box on or weight or whatever.
Yeah.
And if it's wrong, and I'm sort of in, I'm not quite right. I've got to get back up in the cab, twiddle the lever. So I ain't got to do that now. You can just up, down, hook on.
Want to give a quick demo?
Yeah, give it a yeah. So now the tap's open. Obviously, Robert can control it from in there, and then I can control it from here as well. Turn the tap, and then it's on the back again. If I really wanted to be fancy, you could put a couple of taps on here, so you could isolate either, but I don't really need to. So.
And you'll see it done on loaders regular, where people split functions if they need it. If you need a 4th valve, you could split.
You just split it here, exactly. Yeah, I haven't got the need for it, so.
You'll have some serious gear if you have a 4th function.
Exactly.
We were having a chat about. We just checked out your buttons as well. A couple of
these have been playing up for a little while.
Found a few faults on the tractor.
Yes, you hadn't just been fitting valves, have you? No.
So we had a look at your up and down. So we've one working up, one is working fine on down on this side or whatever. We actually borrowed it, moved up front, so we're going to get 4 new buttons for the back.
Yeah, so she'll be bang on.
Now, I have to say, this is a very tidy.
You're quite impressed with this, aren't you? Framework and chassis.
Yeah, chassis paintwork is in very good order, very original order. I know you did say you painted the rims, but overall the chassis is very clean. You notice little details like single exiting bottles here. The galvanized finish still on. Yeah. They're usually rusty rotten.
Yeah, rusting up lot.
Just told George, as admiring his extra lights, they're a brilliant job, but you're going to just do the simple heads and dips there. So dip lights, you switch on your dip lights, your parking lights first, the normal parking lights, and then so that's heads. Put on back on the heads, and back to dips. So that's all done from one flick of the stalk, So a little bit like the trucker men, they normally have the top lights coming on, so that give you a little bit extra candle power on heads.
Yeah. Blind a few more people.
The neighbours will possibly upgrade that if you wanted to twin calipers all around, because the
brackets are there for it.
Yeah, you already have ABS on the tractor.
Yep.
All you have to do is add the calipers, obviously, with the brake pads and a link pipe from where the brake bleeder leaves each caliper round to the second caliper.
So it's not a big job really,
No, the cost of the calipers and the cost of 4 pipes.
Yeah, but what are you talking, 500 a corner?
I'll have to give you an exact price, but let's put a figure of 500 a corner. 2 grand or there.
So it's a couple of grand, but I mean you're doubling your stopping power basically.
Look, depends on what you're doing really. I know you're not generally a motorway guy, you're more likely to be in the field on the road, but if doing a lot of trailer work, it would be good.
The option's there, isn't it? Like if you're running a tanker or something down the road all the time.
Take the pressure off what's there, but absolutely nothing wrong with the standard brakes on it, 3170.
Yeah, they do. They pull up well, like
absolutely, And so the fact you have the ABS option as well. Engine seems to be in tip-top order, considering you got new head there recently, so that's all the issues there.
She's well happy, like
transmission got a major rebuild recently.
Yeah.
Probably the only other thing I'd be thinking about on a tractor with maybe 9,000 hours is, and we don't know the history. I don't know the history of this tractor, but a rear diff rebuild would be something worth investigating ahead of time. The reason being, a lot of people find out the diff trouble when it's too late.
Yeah.
So what I'm talking about there is, remove a diff unit and there's wearing parts as in thrust washers and O-rings. Do you have a current rear diff lock working? Is it operational on the rear diff?
Yeah, the rear diff works. I think it's the front one that don't work.
Yeah, is it blanked off?
Can't remember.
Well, if they're blanked off, they've been blanked off for reasons.
Yeah.
Normally what happens is the seals go in the diff lock unit. The oil from the hydraulic tank gets pumped through the pumps, valves, etc. into the axle.
Yeah.
It's supposed to move the piston apart, but the
Lock it, yeah.
And then hydraulic oil starts to creep through from your tank into the back axle. Axle overfills with oil.
Yeah.
And then somebody realises you have too much oil and go, oh, what's wrong? And I tell you that the seals are gone.
Yeah,
Stick a blanket until you get time to fix it.
Yeah.
So that's sometimes where the diff lock, you know, kind of precedes the rebuild.
Yeah, yeah.
Or something goes crunch, bang, wallop, whatever it is. But you have, I'm just going to look at the miles in the tractor. I don't think you need the miles. The miles is often as relevant as the hours.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So in this case now, a normal rule of thumb, right, for anyone that's looking at buying a Fastrac, trying to check out are the hours legit, or maybe they just form a pattern of what maybe the tractor was working on.
Yeah, yeah.
Multiply the hours roughly by 10. So
Right.
I'd expect an 8,000 or 9,000 hour tractor to have somewhere 80, 90,000 miles. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what's on it, it's going to tell you now. If you're on the key, first thing that appears in the centre of the dash is the mileage. 98,000, and your hours are 9,600. So
Yeah,
that was
so-
me giving you a number in advance. before you even looked at it.
Yeah, that's to be fair. You didn't really already look at that, did you? So
No, I hadn't paid
that
any
was a good guess. Good.
Say a bit of home engineered front linkage. I'll give you top marks for all the extra wiring that you done there, George.
Yeah, I know, electrician or
No,
engineer, but I'd like try my best.
That's decent. Look, if you want that to be reliable, put a bit of trunk in your.
Yeah, just take a bit of time and put it in some trunking, like,
We're going to organise a little bit of shrink wrap for over these buttons here.
Yeah, I mean that's just to get things working, isn't it? So
Everything's a great order now, in fairness. What else did I tell you? She's holding water good, but she probably had a little bit. Just pay attention to that.
yeah, she's wet, damp, isn't she? Like, yeah.
I've had a couple of these bursting. It turns into an explosion of oil. And
Yeah.
you're on the side of the road someday. You don't want that happen. But no, this corrosion is next to zero on this tractor. It's great to see it.
Yeah.
There's the sort of thing now. If George rang me up and he says, I think they're selling me a tractor, I'd say,
You'll be on the you'll be making me an offer, like, yeah.
But then it'd be like trying to buy a car off Hollywood Phillips. It'd be Princess Diaries. What was that?
Be another $5,000 on it because it's got Saunders on it, like,
Yeah, that's it. At least. Progress is always mean things get better, but it doesn't always make they get more reliable.
No, they don't. No, that's a sure fact.
I know this is a bit of a soft point on them, the spool valves, but other than that, they're fairly well engineered machines. And you have the non-electronic engine. It's only a simple start.
Yeah, simple. Yeah.
So that's not going to give you much grief. That's similar to
mechanical pump and throttle and everything. So
yeah, just a cable.
Yeah,
you have to go
simple.
Similar to what's in the Case Maxim tractors and things like that. So like they were.
So yeah, I mean, like you say, the only dodgy thing really left on it was the spools, and
yeah, it's sorted.
she's not bothered now.
So like that, I say, keep an eye on service in there, on your diff oils. Your hubs.
Yeah.
And have a think. If you ever had a diff lock problem, as in that's something that would prompt you, because pulling the likes that you would on a diff lock.
Yeah.
Definitely. So if you're doing the likes of that regular, diff lock, you'd have to think about your O-rings. Then you've gone in. But it's not. It's actually hundreds that would fix a rear diff lock.
Yeah, it's
in
not
advance.
Yeah.
Like the O-rings themselves are only pennies.
Yeah.
A couple of euros.
Yeah.
Pounds in your case. And the thrust washers, again, hundreds, not thousands.
Yeah.
But if something gets to the point where the actual thrust washers collapse, you can see the insides of the diff housing, like the diff.
Yeah, they're starting to wear.
Oh, it gets chewed up beyond.
Yeah.
You can't do anything with that.
Yeah.
Private opinion, it's going to be down to the amount of miles and the type of work it's done. But I'm going to call both the hours and the miles on this modest for a year.
Yeah. It's not bad, really, is it? Like, it's under 10, so.
There's no reason it wouldn't do double what's on it now.
Yeah, there's plenty out there doing double, like.
Well, we've had more than one machine in with 18, 19, 20,000 hours.
Yeah.
Like the 3220s, 3230s.
Yeah.
And even the old 3185s, they were like that was the predecessor then.
Yeah, and it's not, to be honest, it's not pulling massive heavy loads. It's not really working that hard for its living. So
It's living a rock star lifestyle.
Well, yeah, kind of like. I mean, it does work. I mean, it does plenty of work, but we're talking 14-ton trailers, not 18-ton trailers.
Yeah, and you're not full-time earning a living contract.
No, exactly. So
you do the work on the farm here and maybe help out a friend or a neighbour.
Yeah, and move the tractors about and stuff like that. So it's got relatively easy life, to be honest. But
and I'm guessing you don't leave it in the rain too often.
Well, it does. Yeah, no, it does spend its most of its time. Although we've got a lot of buildings, they're filled with cows most of the time,
I know
it does spend its life outside. But
so because you've got 3 valves, okay, so green only is up forward and back, obviously like that. blue only is that we've doubled up this so you don't have a grey or white valve.
Yeah.
So if you want to do constant pump, it just clicks into position. Or if you just want to work with temporary, just for a second where it springs to neutral. So it's giving you both options on that one colour valve. So constant pump if you want to work, say, I don't know, is it on the tank or the macerator?
Yeah.
So that click it in to drive it in one direction, that click in to drive in the other direction. Or if you have something that just folds up or down, or just a small adjustment, you do it like that.
Yeah.
So that's giving you that option there. You can control the output speed on the
blue valve.
Yeah,
In and
but
out.
have say the blue coloured valve has got the blue taps. So if you want to say trim it down to whatever speed it is, it's not an issue on this machine because of all the check valves, etc. It's got its own flow controls through that. But if you want to slow it down, maybe for the maybe your box, although you could actually add another flow control tap onto your box, but you're not doing much with the front link.
No.
But anything that needs to be slowed down, just put it onto the blue valve and just
You can adjust it
control
whatever you
the
want.
flow.
Yeah.
I see you're still on the original V-Link as well on this because I don't see any sign of any interference.
Yeah, I think that's original. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have seen a few of the V-Links here on the back where that's just another interesting point. But if it starts the way, you'll actually see the axle moving forward.
It'll just move about on that ball joint at the back.
Anyone that's familiar with trucks would probably see it in 8-wheelers and Arctic units that the actual torque.
It's exactly the same as what they put on the Volvos.
Exactly what it is. We buy a kit for the Volvos and that's what goes into it. I can fit them kits in the tractors. It's a bit of a, what would I say, a little bit of a trick we have. But we fit kits into them when they're worn out without removing the V-link.
Oh, you can do it.
All we do is strip off a few of the hydraulic pipes there.
Yeah.
And we can strip out everything and put the kit into it. It saves a lot of time taking out the V-link.
Taking out
the V-link is bigger work than actually fitting the kit in.
Yeah. They're not fun to do, are they?
No.
The axle moves a bit and then it's a bastard to line the holes up.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
A bit. But now you have a lovely original tractor now in fairness, and it's got a few nice mods like your extra air supply there.
Yeah.
That's something that help keep everything in order and maybe service an old vehicle or pump a tyre or whatever it is beside you. Everything's in fantastic order. I wish they were all this clean at this age. You're telling me this is a modest cost for the system, like it's
Oh yeah. So it's it's a.
We fit to any brand of tractor. It's not just for Fastrac.
Obviously.
This is the first Fastrac I've seen with.
Yeah, there shouldn't be as many with them on, like.
No.
Not the older machines, anyway. Obviously, the new icons and that have got it on.
But it's actually brilliant to see it, and it works really well, and you're very happy with the sound of it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to switch on your hydraulic panel, you have to turn on the isolator switch, same as previous, except now it's going to be live once that's on all the time. Now, you would never really have noticed it other than you either turn it off or turn it on.
You didn't get a.
There's no light.
No, but it would trip out the spools.
Yeah.
So it still works exactly the same.
Yeah.
But you just added the light just so you got a visual. Yeah.
Turn it off.
If you think like, what's
it's a little. You could drop your handbag, George.
Yeah.
I'll get your lycra. Your lycra shorts or something called.
No, but it is handy to have just like so you don't knock it like
absolutely no.
Especially if you knock it into constant pump.
Oh yeah, you don't want to
and you've got a trailer behind you, like.
Jesus, and you burn the pump out.
Yeah. So you just click that. That's isolated everything.
It's safe. So it's leaving it quite rugged. And you know that your green valve now is going to be used for tipping the trailers. So
tipping trailer.
Yeah, pull it back so it's a constant pump. So you can put it in the middle just to hold the trailer up. And when you push it forward, it's float.
That's
only.
in float. Yeah.
Float. So that's going to drop your trailer with no pressure on the pump.
Yeah.
And then blue to left and right
is momentary. So.
It ramps up and down, or lift the back door up and close it down again. Or
fold stuff.
And then say we've doubled up the brown valve that you have either momentary or permanent where it clicks in.
So it does basically everything. So
absolutely, yeah.
So the thing you miss with your others is like your standard spools have got 4 positions on them.
Yeah, you would.
Well, these you've only got 2, haven't you?
Three.
Well, you got neutral, haven't you? Like,
So it's a bit of a compromise, but the green is set up on purpose that goes to float.
Yeah.
It allows you for the trailer drop. If you want to make the brown one a single acting function with float, at any stage you can. You leave it. And there's a small little bit of fitting on the valve block.
And indeed, you can do the same with the green. You can make that double acting if you want, can't you?
Yeah, if you want it. But look,
don't need to.
I haven't come across many guys that have asked for that. But if you buy some new gear that has something special, just give it.
You might have to,
I'll talk you through it.
It's doable. If you really need to, you can. But
Yeah. So you never know what's out there.
Yeah. You can hear the.
Yeah. So that's your low pressure hydraulics putting in, and you operate your valves there. Down here, the valves operating and the operating. Just move your different valves and your different valves up. You can actually see some of the parts that were work up in the past are now visibly moving.
Yeah.
So there is movement going on external, but they're all, anything that is visibly moving still has seals for the elements or extra seals fitted.
Yeah.
You know, so there's nothing going to suddenly leak oil or get dirt into them or fail in the long term. You still have something that's reliable. But these are actually parts, you know, available from Bosch with a proper seal kit at the end of the chrome to keep the dirt and the dust out. So it's not as if, you know, some guy makes a comment, so your valve is going to get rusty or dirty or start leaking. That's not going to happen. It's still sealed up from the elements the way it should be. So 15 years doing this one particular repair.
You haven't had issues yet, Lord?
Yeah, we might have to change 1 or 2 solenoids in here that just failed.
Yeah.
The solenoid failed in any machine.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
There's nothing unusual with that.
Yeah.
But as regards the joysticks themselves, well look, I haven't had anything fail. The fuses are in on the main fuse box. So
Yeah, they're not separately wired.
No, we just teed off an auxiliary fuse, so if ever you call me and say, look, there's after popping a fuse for some reason, I'll tell you
that's where to go, like, yeah.
Absolutely. So,
and that's the other thing, you're only just at the end of the phone. Any issues, give you a bell.
Oh yeah, don't charge you by the minute. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
I think you should maybe, if you get a chance, maybe a little bit of black paint on this part.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've got to have that and give it a bit of liquor paint. That'll tidy it up.
Yeah, definitely. I think it looks the part, and this nice simple little light just to remind you, turn it off, you can hear the hum of the hydraulics, and then
boom, off she goes.
And then
Peace
safety, there's nothing going to drop or open or get, you know.
Don't do anything like
not a bit.
No.
And you still have your standard draft control working exactly as it was, and you had no faults in that, and it's still working exactly as it should.
Yeah.
The worst ever comes to the worst, and something electrical is gone, fuse is blown in the middle of the field, no help, getting dark, running it home. You still have the option of working manually. So watch your machine there, I'm doing this with my hand. No electrics involved, the electrics turned off. Actually, I will just turn it off, the switch is to prove. So there's nothing powered up, we even plug out the solenoid just to prove it. And still able to operate your machine up and down. So you won't get caught out in a situation where you can't lift the implement out of the ground to get home or back to the garage or whatever you need to do. Because there will be days things go wrong, but at least you can do this.
Yeah, you still get yourself out of trouble.
You have a plan B.
Yeah.
It's just such a pity they didn't give you a plan B the first day.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it looks the power, George. Didn't take away from the value of the tractor, quite the opposite.
No, it's added to the value because, well, it's not very saleable with no spool valves, is it? So.
But we have a guy in Australia at the moment, same tractor, just turn the key off here. So we were talking to an Australian customer, and we're actually putting together a kit. His own son is a qualified mechanic, and we had a good chat with him.
So you're going to send this kit over to him?
We're going to send the kit over. We made a video.
You don't fancy a trip over to Oz then to fit it like?
Well, the truth is, I've actually been there already. And he knows following. We met him. We were out actually looking at his 8250.
Yeah.
We're doing a recalibration on his varial transmission because he couldn't get the high and low range to work.
Right.
So I went out there, and I think we're after drinking about 5 or 6 beers that day. And he says, "Come out here and look at me 8250."
Yeah.
And we down the field anyway, and we done a calibration on the transmission, got it selecting high and low range, but on the 8250. But he actually wants the 4 valves on his tractor repaired. So I'm putting together all the parts for the repair for this particular customer in Australia. He's outside Perth in Western Australia, and he's going to get it up and running. And I said he has only no valves working, and he won and then down to 0, so the tractor's no good. He actually bought an ox, that's what it was. He told me it was one valve working badly, and the tractor was sold for a song. What are you going to do with that? Tractor with no hydraulics, not much good for anything.
No, you got to fix it, like,
fix it. So he says if it had 4 valves, it'll double the value of his tractor, because again it was sold for knockdown.
Yeah, because you tow a trailer and that's it, like.
That's it. So it's unfortunate, but they call it progress, but it's not always. No more error codes on the dashboard either.
Nope, no more error codes.
Clean dashboard, no flashing lights.
Yeah, for the first time ever.
Is it? You always had.
Because it always had the brown spool was always, an issue, faulty. It worked.
Something.
It worked once out of 10 times, but it was always showing an error. So
we had pain in the butt.
So
nothing more annoying than a light flashing all day long.
I think
you had the old
winking
black,
at you all the time.
You had the black tape out.
Just so you can ignore it a bit. Like.
Come across tractors with a lot of black tape, covering up a lot of lights, just to try and sell them maybe. But get rid of them. No, so you have a good tractor with a good clean bill of health here. The transmission got recent work, the engine got recent work, and I think the rest was looking good. And I'd say it'll be around for a long time. This one. If you don't
Maybe
keep
not
it.
with me, but you know.
Well, but at least there's something decent when you want to trade up to the
Exactly.
next one.
Yeah.
So, but absolutely nothing wrong with this tractor. I'd be happy doing this for the next 20 years myself.
There you go.
There you go.
I remember one of the first videos I see on your channel where you were in a, I think it was 3230, got a laptop, just so here down the back lanes, obviously round.
Yeah, driving on the back roads, yeah, it was an 80k machine.
Yeah, because she was cocking on. She was, you know.
Yeah, we had the laptop set up showing the forward speed of the tractor.
Yeah, what issue did you have with it, like?
Why we were driving it?
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously you're trying to find faults, weren't you?
Yeah,
or find a fault.
We done injectors on it, and the tractors remapped a few different things like that, and we just pretty much road tested it, but it was hard not to want to drive it because it was 80k and had a silly, noisy exhaust, plus a sunroof.
Oh, did it? Oh, yeah.
Sunroof as well.
It got all the boxes, like, all the boxes.
It was absolutely wicked to drive. Oh my god. So
never driven an 80k actually.
80k?
Yeah, never driven one.
No, there's not that many around here.
There used to be when I used to do tankering.
Yeah.
There was another company, local company. They used to run Fastraxx as well, similar to us. We run, the 70k or 65k ones.
Yeah.
They had about 5 80k ones.
Really?
Yeah.
30s.
3190s, 3220s.
So we're back 20 odd years ago doing this.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, not that many around.
Yeah,
in reality, look, you can get a standard 3220 to do 65, 70k, no problem all day long.
Yeah.
With the limit I've set on them. The 80k tractor, it's pushing them on a fair bit. You want the gear behind it to match is the problem. Like, as in, your average ag trailer is not going to take 80k.
No, you want
tanker's not a hope, as in you couldn't.
Not an ag tech. No, you've got to be commercial spec all the way, lot.
At that stage, you would have to ask the question, why are you not running a truck?
Yeah.
To save it on the price of the diesel, that's gone out the window, I think, in this country, is it?
Well, we were having to run white.
Yeah.
I mean, we were running Fastraxx just because they were dual use. We could use them in the summer to run balers and all that sort of stuff.
So you were actually changing colours of diesel depending on what you're doing?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you had a full tank of red, you got to go tankering.
Yeah.
You didn't drain it out and put white in.
Yeah.
But if if you need to fill up and you've got a load of tankering to do, you fill it up with white. So.
Right. Okay. Bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But
if you get caught running red, they have your pants down, don't they?
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah.
Liz, fantastic couple. You're a brilliant pair. And you met your brother, your brother-in-law,
father-in-law,
and your father-in-law, and absolutely really nice people, really decent. It was great crack to have the chat with you all, and I get to see what goes on in a different place. Let this lad go by first. Where are we heading for now? We're going
straight up, turn right.
Yeah, okay. Are we far from home? Are we kind of the same distance back?
We're not far. We can go a little. We'll probably take another little. We won't go straight back because you won't be able to open her up really on what we've got left. So.
Yeah, it's more kind of suburban here, is it? Speed ramps.
Yeah, blooming speed. Bloody bane of our lives they are.
Yeah, that's you bottoming out on the front axle there like we talked about.
No. She don't, I mean, considering it is on the stops, just sort of touching the stops, it still is very comfy.
Ah, it is,
do you know what I mean? Yeah, because it is, it bounces up and down, so.
Yeah,
but I'm going to get that sorted, definitely, definitely get that sorted.
On the front.
Yeah.
So, let's see, open the window, listen to that note. What's over in 30, are we?
With a 30, yeah. Don't get me a ticket, you'll be having it, like.
Cops won't get me. I'll be going to the airport for the ticket.
You'll deny, I won't drive it.
Yeah, I think they're still looking for us after that incident in the town today on the FW20.
Ah, where you dragged all them cyclists under the wheel,
I don't know who might have seen it, but I took George's little FW30 for a drive today. He didn't bring me out to a 100-acre field though. Oh no. Roundabouts, traffic lights, speed ramps. I was dodging old grannies with shopping trolleys.
I want to see what sort of driver you were like. You weren't bad, to be honest. You weren't bad.
I didn't mind being in the field driving that round town. It wasn't. Truth be told, George, that tractor wasn't designed for town driving.
Oh no, not really.
It was no Ford 4000, I can tell you. Oh my God, what an experience! That's an absolute nuts machine.
It's good fun. It's a big
14-litre engine, is it?
14.8.
14.8.
Yeah, she's a big old V8 Cummins.
Oh my God.
Love a Cummins, mate. Love a Cummins.
Bark like you wouldn't believe. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Get her doing actually a bit of work, and she does sound gorgeous.
Now, I've driven plenty of articulated machines like loading shovels and maybe a couple of A25s or A40s.
Dumpers, like
Oh my God. It is so different than I've ever sat on. It's an absolute beast of a machine. So I have to say, I didn't expect to get driving that this time.
No.
I didn't even think about it. I said, should we got a spin on George's 3170, I'd be happy. Where are we going? Straight on?
Straight on, boss. Straight on.
So, next thing was we got to meet your friends, the Kings, and thanks very much for having me round for an hour or two. Got a coffee, had a chat with him.
Yeah, you met my mate, Darren, didn't you?
Darren as well, hi Darren, Mark, and then Basil.
Yeah, Matthew and Basil.
Yeah. I thought it was Basil Faulty I was going to meet.
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that.
No, he's actually a gent. He was definitely not like Basil Faulty.
All, all sort of... all nice people, do you know what I mean? Just, I was easy to get on with. Yeah.
I was amazed at the gear they're running. I think I seen a 36 45 Massey. Like
3080, you love them.
3080, so you have this only appeared in the last couple of minutes, TO46.
Yeah.
So there's a gateway there, is it?
Yeah, you can pull in there if you want.
Pull in there with a quick chat. We'll pull over safely.
What's that curve? Jesus!
That was a bigger car than I thought. If you had your proper coil springs up front, you wouldn't have felt it.
Well, no, but I know what they're like.
So you feel it bottoming out?
Yeah, we did. It's a big old bump, mate.
It is a big bump, but have you not seen what I've done with some other? I'm going to say
you're a maniac.
Rock star farmers like you. You're not a maniac. Did you see what we did with Farmer Phil? We pulled the harrow across the field. I said, which way did you plough the field last? He said, this way. I said, we're going that way, so. He said, what do you mean? You'll wreck.
Crossing,
I said, no, we're going to cross the ploughed field the wrong way. And I said, we're going to drive this on as hard as we could. We got up to, I think, 22k at one stage. And he was going, oh my God. Look behind, and all you can see, it looked like a muck spreader because the discs were thrown high up into the air. But get that coil spring issue sorted out, and you would. Yeah, that's only a little bump, like that's not a bump at all. Jesus Christ, like talking to Mick Dundee here. Anyway, you asked me a TO46 on your dashboard, so you have one of the 8 sensors underneath the cab to do with your shuttle, with your forward reverse. You may have lost something now. You see the way it's flashing?
Yeah, it should still work, normally does.
Give me a second. Just seeing if you lost any gears yet. Okay, they're all still available. So it's probably an intermittent problem.
Yeah, it's momentary.
Eventually, what will happen is you'll end up losing a gear. Or you may lose high range or medium or whatever. Now we're just going to go into something else. Just when we're talking about fault codes and dashboards and everything else, I'm going to just show you something else in here. This is just an information mode. So we have the tractor turned off. We're going to hold that button. A lot of lads don't even know that button's there.
A lot.
That allows for an auto
shuttle.
You can actually do forward reverse without using the clutch, just by using that. But we'll not talk about that now. That's for the headlands, which we don't do that much of. But you may use it. But anyway, if you want to get into the information mode to do with your clutch, sometimes you might have an issue to do with your clutch. You may have something beeping at you, or you might have something flashing on your dashboard. This will help someone like myself talk you through the problem over the phone and maybe diagnose or tell you what you need to do. So hold that button, turn on the key, and we're going to see the dashboard giving you 3 numbers here on each side. So one is showing you 37 degrees in the main clutch and the wet clutch up the front of the transmission, and the other showing you 31 degrees at the cooled oil at the the oil filter at the back.
At the back,
So that's just oil temperatures. So I press this button one more time, and it shows 100. So 100 is the pedal up the top,
Yep.
down to 0 at the bottom. So
Yep.
that's pedal fully down.
Yep.
And that here on the side is showing milliamps going to the smooth shift solenoid.
Right.
That will actually controls the main clutch.
Yeah, yeah.
So as I let the clutch up, again, I should be able to read it, you know, very
Move it,
progressively.
yeah, yeah.
It's proportional. It's, you know, as in my foot is up 20, 30, 40% there.
Not 0
Yeah.
to 600 instantly, like,
so the top is, you know, it's reading 586 milliamps, so that's the feed going to the clutch. So that, you don't need to know what this means here, but that there, the 100 to 0, will show that your clutch sensor is working correctly. But there's something else I want to show you. So we can look at this information all day long when it's driving, okay?
Yeah.
There's one other thing you can check on it as well. There's a button at the bottom that most operators will be familiar with.
Yeah.
And it goes from on and off.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, there's supposed to be a beeper in your tractor, it's disconnected or it doesn't work. But when you put the clutch down, when it goes from off to on, that is the one that allows your shuttle to operate. So your shuttle will never change until that button is clicked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it should operate at around 10-12%. So in your case, it's coming in there just at, it's quite low, yours is down at 8%.
Yeah.
You can actually adjust the little stop on the pedal and bring it up a little bit. What that means is you're having to put your foot right down to make the shuttle operate. Now you're probably in the habit of doing it anyway. Most people that operate Fastraxx are.
Yeah.
But it should be a little bit taller. Should be up around 12, so you can adjust a little stop on that.
And just pull it out a bit, like,
it just means you're not
all the way down onto the stop of the pedal, like.
Nearly.
Yeah.
So we're going to start the tractor. Now you can operate in this, and this will not change anything on the tractor. So it's not for calibrations or anything like that. It's only information.
Just,
We're going to start the tractor, and we're going to press this button. Now no debug just means there's no faults on it.
Yeah.
And we're going back into the next menu. So there's 4 or 5 menus on it, and you just scroll through each of these menus by pressing the button each time. So we're going back just after the temperatures. We're now back at the one showing 100% and then the milliamps at 175. I'm just going to show you our actual bike point. So this shows you the wear on the clutch. And if it's calibrated correctly, you should have engagement on this. I'm just going to rev up the engine a little bit so you'll hear it. Listening up with your engine, you can see your RPMs there. So as I start to let the clutch out, at around 50% it should be starting to engage the drive. Here at 50, kill the engine. So your clutch is bang on. Your potentiometer is calibrated. Now I'm going to assume after the transmission rebuild done at the local guys would have done that.
They've done it,
So you know everything's a tip-top order.
Still bang on, like,
absolutely. But if you had an issue with the clutch that seemed a little bit erratic or not
high or whatever, like,
this information is available to any driver. Just by pressing that button. It's free. It's a part of the tractor. It's built into it. You don't need to know anything else. So that's pretty much all you need to know on that menu there.
Useful information, very useful information.
We'll cross this curb a little bit less aggressively.
Well, this is smoother here, you'll be right.
We hit pretty hard the last
there's just a big rut there. So.
We did, we hit hard. So we're heading for home now, George, because I think it's time everyone cracked open a can of beer or whatever you're into, George. Maybe I don't think you're allowed for drinking much beer, are you?
I'm not a beer man.
Not a beer
man. Not a beer man.
It's good to have no bad habits, but we're not talking about driving. And your addiction to big silly machines. Big blue ones.
Well, you'll get me that and all, let you say.
Oh, wow. So. So. And there's no harm blowing off a bit of steam with the machines, you know, because that's a drug to other people too, isn't it?
That's my that's my advice. Spending money on tractors and stuff like that, like.
Absolutely. So some people play golf, some people drive
tractors fast.
There you go.
There you go. Anyway, thanks for coming over.
I've had
sorting all those spools out.
Absolute whale of a time.
You had a good time. I've had a good time.
It's been absolutely, the hospitality was brilliant meeting your family, your friends, and we'll be back again.
Not the end.
Not the absolutely
not the end.
You know,
so in the beginning.
Absolutely, yes, of many bits of